Welcome back everyone to CruiseAway. Good to have you with us again. We are here every day on Gecko and we're always full of bright ideas for your next holiday. So let's cruise away with Royal Caribbean in this show, and we're heading for Europe.
Yes.
That way.
Oh, yes, it is.
That way.
Oh, okay. Yes, we are heading to Europe, and we're planning ahead for next year for some super exciting trips, showing off the ships that are a hit with everybody. Now, if you haven't sailed Royal Caribbean yet, you're in for an absolute treat. We've got a huge variety for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 3 of their popular ships in the show and 3 very different journeys, actually. We're off to Rome via New York later for an Odyssey of the Seas cruise. And we've got Greece and Italy coming up for May with stays in 2 iconic European cities. First, for July of next year, we're cruising Spain, France and Italy on one of the mighty Oasis-class ships from Royal Caribbean, the Allure of the Seas. Our 12 nights starts on the 30th of July and we're flying first over to Barcelona in Spain, and of course we've got to spend some time there, so we've got 3 nights in a hotel all booked up for you. It's funny, you know, out of all the cities in all the world, there are some cities that you can go to and you can say, okay, I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it, don't need to come back.
Yeah.
Barcelona, you know, like it's almost like a snake. It sheds its skin and shows you something new every time you go.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, no, it's so true. There's so many little hidden corners of Barcelona that not even 3 months would allow you to explore. So you can touch on it, of course, for your first visit, or it might be your second or third visit. Whether it's up in the mountains of Montjuic, where they have a beautiful mystical theme park. You take the funicular up there. It's an incredible place. In Grazia, not far from Grazia, which is a lovely kind of artistic area of the city. Then there's Barceloneta Beach, lots of lovely tapas bars down there, so much to see and do.
Maybe you need longer than 3 months.
Yeah, I know, right? Then it's time to cruise on the Allure of the Seas. Now we have 7 nights on board. She's Oasis class, so think of all the fun of the fair. Now, I mean, they literally do have a fun fair on board. They have a boardwalk with a carousel, and it does feel like you are down at the beach, you know, enjoying some traditional fun arcades and all of that stuff. They've got hot dog stands and everything,
and
candy floss.
This is why the whole family has to go.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? These are the family ships. I mean, if it's just you as a couple, you're going to have the most amazing time. Royal Caribbean gives everyone a good time. But if you've got the whole family with you, because like you say, there's a real contrast. There's the boardwalk with the carousel and the dry slides and, you know, everything going on down one end, and down the other end, you've got this peaceful, tranquil Central Park where you can just chill out, have a nice steak, have a nice glass of champagne, cocktail.
Oh, yes.
There's the Rising Tide bar as well, which is quite funny because that starts off in the promenade and you get on and it's like a flight.
Yes.
And the bar slowly rises out of the promenade and it ends up in Central Park. I think it takes about half an hour from one to the other.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's just, I mean, some of the things that you'll see on this ship, you're like, wow. And honestly, I know she's a big ship, but once you're on the inside of that ship, you will not notice. You'll be so immersed in what's going on, easy to find your way around, and you will love it. Bigger ship, more to do.
Yeah, absolutely more to do. They actually have 3 water slides, a trio of water slides called the Perfect Storm as well. And the Ultimate Abyss water slide gives you a 10-story drop. So for thrill seekers, that water park is amazing. You have the iconic Royal Caribbean rock wall as well. They're known for this. They have ice shows on board. I mean, this is fantastic. Dragon on Ice. It's such a fun show to see. And they have the regular theatre as well. So, you know, it's all singing, all dancing. Royal Caribbean are known for their shows. They're award-winning. They're spectacular, actually. So you will be just spoilt for choice when it comes to entertainment. If low-key is more your scene, they have piano bar, they have comedy, they have lots of different things going on around the ship. I love it. Oh, and they have the Bow and Stern English pub. If you like a proper roast and a pint, you can have it there. Cruising out of Barcelona, Palma de Mallorca is our first port to visit with its beautiful castle. They've got the Spanish Village there. The Miro Museum also is worth a visit. And you've got 2 main languages spoken in Mallorca, Castilian, Spanish and Balearic. Then it's Marseille in France, where you are kind of on the cusp there of lots of beautiful things to see in Provence, but make sure you head to the Notre Dame de la Garde, which is an incredible sight to see. La Spezia, Italy is up next, and this is gateway to Florence, where you must tour if you can and see the cradle of the Renaissance, home to the Duomo, the Uffizi, and of course, David, yeah, the famous sculpture. Then it's Civitavecchia. Now, this is gateway to Rome, the Eternal City. Some of the top things to visit, of course, are the Vatican Museums and Sistine Chapel, St. Peter's Square and Basilica, the Colosseum. If you've never seen that before, that will take your breath away. Then we're on into Naples, which, if you've never done Pompeii, it's a must. This amazing city was buried under ash and dust for 3,000 years, and the accompanying museum is just mind-blowing, so interesting. Then we're back into Barcelona, where we have included your transfer back to the airport, where we'll fly you back to Sydney after this whistle-stop tour of the best of the Mediterranean.
If you haven't done the Oasis class with Royal Caribbean before, do this, and I promise you, when you get back, you will want to book a cruise on Wonder of the Seas, on Icon of the Seas, you know, the new biggest ship in the world. These are superb, and they are great for everyone. Like I said, great for the family, great for couples. If you're 8, 18, 28, 98, you will have an amazing time, because of course on a cruise you can all go off and do your own different things. And as Joe said before, very much light and shade on board as well. You can be doing all the whizzy thrills and spills, but you can also be in perfect solitude and paradise in the solarium or in Central Park. It's just wonderful. You love these ships, honestly. July next year, 12 nights all told, this package. A low deposit each of just $500 today. Your package cost includes the flight from Sydney over to Barcelona, 3 nights in a hotel there, breakfast included, 7-night cruise on a Law of the Seas around Spain, France and Italy, including the port for Rome. Don't forget there are ports. There's so much to do on the ship. Don't forget to leave it and visit the ports as well. You'll love them. Back into Barcelona, where we leave Allure. We transfer you from the port to the airport for the flight back to Sydney. And I can't wait to show you the price tag, because this definitely needs to be on the menu for your travel plans for next year. Remember, $500 each today deposit gets this sorted. It's absolutely amazing. Call us and book this as quickly as you possibly can, because this is a busy cruise as well. Royal Caribbean, everyone is trying to get onto their cruises. You've got people from all over the world, from the States, from Europe itself as well, all booking onto this cruise. So the quicker you are, the sooner we can guarantee your place. Here's the details if you want to upgrade from your inside up to your ocean view balcony or suite. Just be aware as well, I don't know if you saw in the footage, but on the balconies you can actually have 2 different types of balcony, or many different types of balconies, but you can have ones that face out to the sea, like the traditional balcony on a cruise ship. You can also have some that face into the neighbourhoods as well. So you could have a balcony which overlooks Central Park, or overlooks the boardwalk, which is where all of the whizzy bang carousel and everything else is. It's amazing, your choice. Lots of different choices. Talk to our team toll free. 1300 411 968 is the number. Really exciting talking about Royal Caribbean cruising, because it's great. Honestly, it's amazing. You get on board and straight away you are like a kid in a playground, no matter what age you are, because there are just so many places to be, so many different choices. I mean, listen, if you're on a week, if you're on 3 weeks on some of these Royal Caribbean ships, you still won't get to do everything, because they are vast with so many choices there, and it's amazing. It really is. Honestly, just do it. And your perfect partner for booking these cruises is with us, because
yes.
CruiseAway have been tailoring these almighty packages for over 25 years now. And remember, you have the power to tailor them even further by just talking to the team. Right, next with Royal Caribbean, we're heading to Rome via New York. Interesting. Sounds brilliant though, doesn't it? And your 29 nights starts on the 23rd of April next year, flying over from SYD to NYC. Did that work?
That definitely worked.
Sort of.
I liked it.
Sort of.
And you're going to have 3 nights to enjoy New York City as well, aren't you? In springtime. I tell you what, Manhattan in springtime, it's magical. All the flowers are coming out in Central Park. You'll be strolling around feeling that fresh springtime breeze. And of course, oh my goodness, so much to see Madison Square Garden. You can maybe see a game or a concert whilst you're there. Then you can stroll around the different neighborhoods, Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan, Brooklyn. You take a little walk over the Brooklyn Bridge. You've got to see that. Maybe head up to a rooftop terrace to enjoy a lovely cocktail. You've got to have a Cosmo while you're in New York for sure, or a flirtini. That's on the Sex and the City tour.
Oh.
You have that too. Then we are on to cruising on the fabulous Odyssey of the Seas for 21 nights. Now, this is one of the newest Quantum Ultra class ships launched in 2021. And as contrast to the Oasis class, these are all about sort of even more dynamic, even more exciting entertainment. You've got, for example, the North Star, which is a height as high as Sydney Harbour Bridge, which pivots around the ship. You have the brilliant entertainment district with things like dodgem cars, which you can enjoy there, and arcade games and roller disco. Then you have the Flow Rider, to learn how to surf. I know if it's something that always overwhelmed you, you could do it in comfort and safety on board a ship when you're doing one of those kind of flow rider activities. And there's also indoor skydiving. Who knew? On a cruise ship. And again, that's a way of doing it, and maybe dipping your toe into the water of something which might seem an overwhelming experience back home, but you're kind of doing it in the safety of being on board a cruise ship in that warm, nurturing environment. Because lots of other people are doing these things for the first time too, so you don't feel like you're the only one. Then look at the solarium.
Oh, it's amazing. The solarium is incredible. It's really nice and warm. It's always at a real nice warm temperature. There are pools in there, so it's a really light sort of tropical atmosphere. There's a great big swing as well, right in the middle. So you can be swinging, just enjoying the most amazing panoramic ocean views. You've got to invent a new cocktail while you're on as well, because this is the Bionic Bar. You can go with, tried and tested, or you can invent a new one, which would be good to do,
wouldn't it? What would you invent?
Well, not a flirtini, because that sounds very fizzy.
It's already been done.
Yeah, something with a bit more punch, I think.
Exactly. You can name it after you as well, which is great. So we are cruising out of fabulous New York, New York. And the first port we're hitting is in the Azure Islands. It's Ponta Delgada, which is a richly geothermal port of call. In fact, you might want to head to the Crater Lakes, which you can see right there, which are kind of glowing with this neon. And there's the Calderas Hot Springs and Furnace Lake to visit too. Then it's Malaga in the south of Spain, one of Spain's oldest cities, inhabited since the times of the Phoenicians, where you can see a lovely old town with cobbled streets. There's a Picasso museum there. There's a lovely harbour and there's great swimming. Then it's Cartagena in Spain, an ancient port served as Hannibal's Spanish headquarters during the Second Punic War with Rome. They have this amazing Roman theatre, which you've got to see when you're there. I've seen that, it's amazing. And a tour you might want to take is Discover Cartagena by trolley train. Then it's Barcelona, which is the Catalonian capital. With so much to see, the Parque Güell is amazing, as is the Trio of Discord and Sagrada Familia. These are all beautiful architectural feats by Antonio Gaudi. Then it's La Spezia in Italy, and this is where you have an easy reach to visit some of the best spots in Tuscany, such as Florence, Pisa, and Cinque Terre as well. Then we are on to our next port, which is the port for Rome. This is where the second cruise starts, because this is actually a back-to-back cruise, but you don't have to disembark, you're staying on board. So you can enjoy Rome or just a little wander around the back streets of Civitavecchia. There's great coffee shops, there's lovely dining options and shopping. We are into Santorini in Greece, this beautiful, mystical port rises out of a caldera, and you can go ahead and take the cable car up to the town of Thira and make sure you see the downtown, because it is the best part about this port. Kusadasi is next. Many people visit this port for Ephesus, the ancient Roman city, which is amazing, but you might want to take it easy with some shopping, and they have an amazing bazaar right there at the terminal, which rivals the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul, if you ask me. Mykonos is next, and this is known as the Chill Island. A lot of top DJs visit here in the summer months, to play their sets. And they have some just lovely boutiques to visit. But there's also the island of Delos, which has got a lot of mythical charm. Naples is next on the itinerary. I mean, what an amazing itinerary this is for history buffs. You have Pompeii, but you've also got Capri, which is the island of the rich and famous, downtown Naples for the best pizza on earth, and Sorrento, which is a charming seaside town. We're back into the port for Rome, where we'll disembark, but you're not heading back home yet to Oz, because you've got to explore Roma. Exactly 3 nights to enjoy after a wonderful cruise, to relax, but also to sightsee, because you've got to see some of the amazing sites such as the Trevi Fountain, Vatican City, and of course the Colosseum. The food in Rome is honestly some of the best on earth. And when it comes to street food, the Romans have just cornered the market. Everything from arborio rice balls through to the best gelato, my goodness. Do a food tour if you can whilst you're there. I thoroughly enjoyed mine when I visited Rome. So here's an overview for you. Of course, flying into New York, enjoying some days in New York, crossing the pond, heading to Ponta Delgado before we head off to the Med, Malaga, Cartagena, Barcelona, over into La Spezia and Civitavecchia. Then we're into Santorini, Kousidas and Mykonos, finishing up finally after a stop in a couple of Italian ports into Rome for 3 days before we fly you back to Australia.
Do you know the thing I love about the cruise as well? You've just had your 3 nights in New York, and the first few days on your cruise are at sea. And that is brilliant because you've got so much to enjoy on the ship. You've probably had quite an adventure in New York. You've probably been busy. From everyone I've ever spoken to who's been to New York, looks at their step count on their phone after they've been and gone, I've never done that many steps in my life. You walk and walk and walk and walk. So you can spend the first few days of the cruise just chilling out. You'll be doing some walking there as well, but you're doing some thrill seeking while you're there as well, and just kind of settling into the cruise, because it's quite some cruise as well. It's wonderful. This whole package is brilliant. 29 nights in all. It's April next year, so plenty of time to look forward to it and to budget for it as well. So we include the flight over from Sydney to New York, 3 nights in a hotel there, and then you've got 3 weeks of cruising on Royal Caribbean's Odyssey of the Seas across the Atlantic to the Azores, Spain and Italy, and the Greek Isles, ending in Rome, where we have a 3-night hotel stay there for you, which is a lovely city break, gorgeous city, and then of course you'll flight back from Rome to Sydney. Now, deposit on this today to lock it in is $1,500, and when I saw the complete price for the package, I couldn't quite honestly believe it, because anyone that has tried to cost up flights and a few nights in New York alone, you can spend this kind of money very, very, very easily. So remember, this is Flight Sydney over to New York, 3 nights in New York, 21 nights of cruise, full board with Royal Caribbean, and then 3 nights in Rome at the end of the cruise, and your flight back to Sydney, all for this. I know, it's amazing. Remember, deposits today, just $1,500 each, and there's ways to spread the cost as well. Let's have a look at upgrades, because very exciting ship, Odyssey of the Seas. You might want to go for ocean view and balcony. And when we're in this kind of price zone, even that extra $999 to go balcony sounds tempting, Joe, do you think?
Oh, yeah. 100%. Super
tempting. Because that means, of course, you get a bigger stateroom as well. You know, again, this is one where you can go away with the whole family. Or if it's just you going on, you know, a trip over. I mean, this is a trip of a lifetime, really, isn't it? It's amazing. It hits all the hot spots that you would want to in this part of the world. I mean, where else do you get, you know, Italian style and glamour and the Greek Isles mixed up with a city stay in New York?
Yeah, I love that.
Great. It's a great use of the time.
Yes. Yeah. It's a brilliant juxtapose of different travel on one incredible package.
Now it's time to look at each other and say, shall we? Shall we, shall we, shall we? Come on, let's do it. How many times do we live? Yeah, just once. Just once. So let's get it booked now. Toll free, call us now, 1300 411 968 is the number. Very tempting, isn't it?
Yes.
Remember that all of the CruiseAway shows, we're making even more of them than ever right now. They're all on our YouTube channel, so just log in and search for CruiseAway and you'll find them all there. And please subscribe while you're there as well. Now, final offer with Royal Caribbean is Voyager of the Seas and a cruise around Greece, Italy and Sicily. And our 17 nights starts on the 13th of May next year by flying from Sydney over to Barcelona in Spain again. This time we're there for a 2-night stay. I have to say, if you've never been to Barcelona, it is the most fantastic city, has a great atmosphere. It's very easy to find your way around. They have a couple of different circuit hop-on, hop-off bus tours, which are well worth taking because they kind of, take you around the sites and the hotspots. But to be honest with you, you don't need to know Barcelona to get to know Barcelona. You can easily just wander, and just take a walk down. Just take a walk from a main street down a back street and you will find fantastic little local restaurants, wonderful little brasseries, wonderful fashion shops. It's a great place to shop for fashion as well. One of the fashion capitals, of course, of the world. And the whole place is just beautiful. So you're there for 2 nights for a hotel, breakfast included there as well. And then it's time to cruise, Voyager of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. Now in Royal Caribbean kind of standings, this is one of sort of more the mid-sized ships, Voyager, isn't she?
Yeah,
it's a little bit smaller than what we've seen so far.
Voyager, when she was launched, was one of the biggest ships, and of course,
yes,
so many ships now have come out and have beaten her in size.
Most by Royal Caribbean.
Most by Royal Caribbean, but I love that this is still, one of the first ships where they implemented all of the exciting and dynamic signature things which have now become signature of Royal Caribbean, like the parades through the atrium with all the characters, like the ice dancing shows, the rock climbing wall, all of these things kind of pioneering in the cruise ship industry were a first on Voyager. And you do have lots of ways you can entertain yourself. You learn to ice skate, for example. You can go ahead and learn and do a little bit of mini golf, which is a rarity on ships. You don't see it too often because they don't all have the space to do it. And then there's the grand atrium, the grand dining room, in fact, where you can enjoy a 3-course meal in style every single night. That's all included, so is your buffet. But you've got some lovely signature, specialty restaurants, including Johnny Rockets, which is a lot of fun if you love your traditional kind of 1950s style diner vibe. But yeah, this is the atrium, and it's kind of almost like a Vegas meets the Italian Piazza. Cruising out of Barcelona, the first port we're heading into is Ajaccio in Corsica, which is the home of Napoleon Bonaparte, capital of French island of Corsica, sprawling and beautiful through the Gulf. And you definitely want to see the Maison Bonaparte about Napoleon. Cagliari's next in beautiful Sardinia, where you might want to take an underground walking tour of the catacombs, which is very interesting. You also have the Piueta Beach, and the beaches in this part of Italy are lovely. Palermo's next, Sicily, incredible Sicily, where you can get some delicious street food such as cannolis, or maybe take a walking tour of the old town, or perhaps an olive oil tour to learn about this incredible industry. You've got to bring some back to Oz with you. Then we're on to Santorini, a lovely place to visit from downtown Thira is Oia, the neighbouring town. They say they have the best sunsets in the Med, those incredible whitewashed buildings overlooking the bright blue sky and ocean. Then it's Mykonos, the neighbouring island, which is so enchanting. They have the beautiful windmills and also lovely churches abound. But I love to just stroll the back streets and see all the kitty cats as well, hiding round corners in Greece. We are on to Naples next in Italy, and a day out to Capri, perhaps on the hydrofoil, might be in order. It's the home of the rich and famous. You've got to pick up a bottle of limoncello from this area of Italy and try some of the world's best pizza as well. It would be rude not to. Talking of the world's best pizza, oh, now, we could get some rivalry if you have Italian heritage and maybe some of you might be Roman heritage, some of you might be Napolitano. So that could get interesting, couldn't it? But I tell you what, this is just the phenomenal Eternal City. Oh my goodness, they call it the Eternal City for a reason. 2 nights in a hotel, and indeed you might be visiting the relatives in this part of the world. So a good little stopover. You could even extend it if you wanted to. By speaking to our team, they can get that sorted for you, but you're going to love Rome. Afterwards, we'll pop you back to the airport and put you on a flight back to Sydney.
Awesome. Really, really nice package, this one. I love, all of the journey, the ship. The ship is just perfectly in step with the itinerary here as well, because it's quite a port-rich itinerary, which is great. You want to make the best of your time when you're in this part of the world. So you've only got a couple of sea days on the cruise, but we've made it into a nice little bookend for you as well. So with the 2 stays in there, it's just perfect. Again, making best use of that time. So, do you fancy this one? May next year, awesome adventure. Includes the flight from Sydney over to Barcelona, 2 nights in a hotel there before you cruise on Voyager of the Seas with Royal Caribbean, of course, cruising the Greek Isles, including Athens, Mykonos and Santorini. End the cruise back in Rome and enjoy there a 2-night hotel stay before you fly from Rome back to Sydney. Now we've got a lower deposit available for you on this one, but here is the price of the package. The deposit is roughly a third of the price, $5,699 per person. And of course you can budget by breaking that down into 6 or 12 payments with Travel Pay Later as well, if you want to, so that you can get it booked today. And you can do it with a lower deposit today here as well. So here's the upgrade prices. If you want to go from your inside stateroom up to an ocean view, a balcony, or a suite. Suites are amazing on cruise ships. You would not believe. It's not like having a suite in a hotel. It's so much more than that. And enjoy all the wonderful dining on Voyager of the Seas as well, because she's an impressive ship. I mean, you saw the size of the dining room, right? It was on multi-levels. Just wonderful. A really, really lovely experience on board. And there are specialty restaurants that you can enjoy on board as well. Here's a quick look at Travel Pay Later as well. I mentioned it before. It's a way of being able to spread the cost of your holiday into 6 or 12 monthly instalments. It's interest free. There's a couple of admin charges. It's very easy to apply as well. And it's a great way of, if you're, maybe you're wanting to plan multiple holidays, it's a good way of budgeting too. If you want to know more, again, just talk to our team. Toll free, as always, 1300 411 968. And if there's any advice or help or tailoring to the packages that you want to do, again, just talk to the team and we'll make it happen. As I said before, and as Joe mentioned before, CruiseAway have been in the cruise business for over 25 years. Now, we're not a travel agent that, that book everything else. We are a cruise travel agent, but because so many people cruise with us, we're well connected with the airlines, with the cruise lines, with hotel brands, with tour operators around the world, and we can unlock exclusive price tags and give you the very, very best advice. And when it comes to cruising, particularly if you haven't done it before, you need advice, you want to ask questions. That's what we're here for right the way through the week. And you know what? We will have the answer there and then.
Yeah, it's so easy for you, honestly. And the stays are all built into your package most of the time when you're booking an adventure like this. So you don't even have to figure out, oh, hang on, I've got to book my hotel before my cruise and get there. No, it's all done. It's all done. We're like your own personal travel concierges here.
Yeah.
And it's meaning that it's never has been easier to travel from Australia to these further afield destinations than it is now. And cruising just brings everything closer to us as well. That's the beauty of cruising.
Aren't we lucky? And listen, if you're loving these shows, there's more on our YouTube channel, and we're here every day on Gecko, 10 in the morning, 1 and 4 in the afternoon, every single day with new adventures. So until we cruise away again, see you soon.
See you soon.